Welcome back to the 2020 Toronto Blue Jays simulation on Out of the Park Baseball 21. This is JayBlue coming at you, and thanks to GM Games. And we are going to have the next week's sim. And of course, if you haven't been following us, this is our first major league start for Nate Pearson, and we're going to get to that shortly. It was not a good week for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, let's take a look at our schedule right now. We won one game and lost 5, so a 1 in 6 weeks. We only got one win against the Baltimore Orioles. That was a 9-3 victory, a 9-3 victory here. Great game from Travis Shaw. Travis Shaw had quite a strong week, though he's got now, in total, he's only hitting .217, and he has 7 home runs. So he had a good week for power. Derek Fisher hit a couple home runs in the week. He's got 6 home runs. He's got a .575 slugging percentage. So a very solid week there from Derek Fisher, who has now got a .925 OPS and a .143 OPS plus. Rowdy Tellez had a solid week as well. He hit a couple home runs, and he's leading the team with 11 bombs. He's only got 3 doubles, but 1,004 OPS for Rowdy. So Rowdy's turning into a great hitter, and he's still got some place to go here with his contact rating, with his eye, and his avoid Ks. So it would be great to see if he maxes out that potential for Rowdy. In general, just a bad week. We're going to talk about Nate Pearson's major league debut. We're going to have that entire game for you, so we're going to sort of skim over some of the other progress in the major leagues. In our first game, Tellez hit a home run. Derek Fisher hit a home run on May 4th. On the mound, Trent Thornton got hit pretty hard, giving up a couple home runs. TJ Zoik also made his first appearance of the year and got in there. So also to note that Chase Anderson was diagnosed with an injured back. He's only really out for 4 days, but we're sort of using that diagnosis as a way of getting... Here's Chase Anderson's injury diagnosis, but we're using that as just a way to get him on the DL, get him on the IL, and so we can get Nate Pearson into the rotation. So for our second game was another loss, as you can see, 7-3 on May 5th. Hyunjin Ryu gave up 6 runs in 6 2/3. Shun Yamaguchi gave up another home run, but Rafael Dolis and Wilmer Font were both strong out of the pen. At the plate, not a lot going on. Gurriel had a hit. Grichuk was 2 for 4, but not a ton going on. In that 9-3 win, though, we got home runs from Shaw, Fisher, Tellez, and Grichuk, while Guerrero was 2 for 4 with a double, Gurriel 2 for 4 with 2 runs, and Brendan Drury 2 for 4 with a double. Tanner Roark threw a complete game, going 9 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 6 K. Then we go to May the 7th. We were off, but May the 8th, we lost 2-1 to Oakland, and that was Nate Pearson's game, so we'll show you the whole game in its entirety. We lost 5-4 to the Oakland A's. On the 9th, Anthony Kay got his first start of the year, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits and 6 walks, so that was not a fantastic start there for Anthony Kay, as you can see here in the stats. He was followed by Anthony Bass, Dolis, and Ken Giles, who took his first loss of the year, giving up a home run to walk it off for the Oakland A's. And the final game of that series was another 1-run loss, a 5-4 loss to Oakland. Thornton gave up another 5 runs on 7 hits. Shoemaker didn't do badly in relief, but he gave up how many runs did he give up? He gave up no runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So not bad in relief, and Shun Yamaguchi had a rebound outing. He's brought his ERA down to 5.4. Offensively, again, not a lot. We haven't been doing Danny Janssen a couple hits, Kevin Biggio a couple hits. Biggio has been struggling, and we're going to talk about that at the end. So we're going to go now to Nate Pearson's first game in the major leagues. And here we are. It is the date of Nate Pearson's first major league game. This is his debut. He's going to debut in Oakland, so that should benefit him as a pitcher. The Oakland A's ballpark. I don't even know what it's called these days. But the Oakland A's ballpark has always been one that favors pitchers. Lots of foul territory for pop-ups on the infield to get caught. And here we are. Nate Pearson is our starting pitcher for the day. The lineup for him is going to be Bichette, Biggio, Guerrero, Gurriel, Shaw, Grichuk, Fisher in right field, and Rowdy Tellez as our DH, with Reese McGuire calling the shots behind the plate. We're facing Chris Bassett, a righty, on the mound. And here we go. We're going to start the game. Pearson won't pitch until the bottom half, but away we go. And we're going to have Bo Bichette leading it off. We're just waiting for the game to load up here, and away we go. Bichette is leading off, and he's not having a great season so far. He's got a 217 average, 302 OBP with a 684 OPS, 5 home runs on the season. We're going to have him take the first pitch. And we're in Oakland Coliseum. I'm not sure if that's the current name, if they have sponsorship rights and naming rights at the moment. And the first pitch from Chris Bassett, who has a 6.39 ERA. So nice pitcher for the Jays to face today. And the pitch is low, ball 1. So we've got Bichette in the driver's seat right away. We're going to have him swing. He's got a 1-2 count now. And he lines it to right field. That's in for a base hit for Bo Bichette, who leads off the game the right way. He's followed by Biggio. And the first pitch to Biggio is flied to center field. That looks like that's going to be caught. And it is, with Matt Kemp, it looks like, making that catch. Now here's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Guerrero hitting 295 with a 364 OBP, 5 home runs, 25 RBI. He works the count 2-1, and he hits a line drive to center, but that is caught by Kemp. 2 outs now, still Bichette on first base. We have Murphy behind the plate. I'm just going to take a look at his defense. So he's got a strong arm. He's a really good defensive catcher. So we're not going to take too many chances. Here's Gurriel. Gurriel's also off to a solid start. 281, 304, and a 768 OPS. And also, he has 5 home runs. So he works the count 2-2 and pops it up very shallow. That's going to be caught by the shortstop. And that is 3 outs. Marcus Semien makes the play. And here comes Nate Pearson. Pearson is making his major league debut. He has been phenomenal, coming off a no-hitter in the minor leagues. And he pitches to leadoff hitter Marcus Semien. And the pitch. And that's hit hard to left field, a line drive, but it's caught by Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And now he's facing Matt Kemp. The major league veteran has a 749 OPS on the season. He works the count 2-2. And he lines one down the right field side. That's going to be a base hit. He's not going to try for second base, not challenging the right arm of Derek Fisher. Now Kemp's on first. Kemp is followed in the order by Matt Olson. Olson is also hitting well this year, not a high average, but he does have a 341 OBP and a 1-strike count. And he hammers it down the left field line. That's going to go into the corner. Coming up with it is Gurriel, and they hold him to a double, but they've got runners on second and third with 1 out facing Nate Pearson. Up to bat now, Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman hitting 217 with 5 home runs. And the pitch to Chapman. It's a 1-strike pitch. That's a shallow fly ball. Are they going to test the arm? They are not. They get an out, and Derek Fisher makes the catch, keeping, I believe that's Matt Kemp over there on third base. And finally, Mark Kanya is up to bat. He is struggling with the bat this season. And Pearson kicks and fires a full count, and he loses him. He walks him on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And Chris Davis, power hitting right-handed hitter. and he's got a 1-strike count. Pearson gives up a ground ball to shortstop. Bichette with the play, and he gets out of the inning. He has a bases-loaded situation, but Pearson is able to get out of it without giving up any runs. Up to bat now, Travis Shaw. And Shaw hits the ball to center field on an 0-1 count, and that's going to be caught by Kemp. 1 out here in the top of the second. Randal Grichuk up to bat. Grichuk is having a solid season so far. He lines one to right field, but that's going to stay in the park. That's going to be into Grossman's glove. And Derek Fisher, who's also off to a hot start, he's got a 909 OPS, 6 home runs for Derek Fisher already. The lefty faces Bassett, and he rips it down the line. That's going to the wall in a hurry. Off to second base goes. And the animation really is letting us down. It looks like he went behind the wall. Fisher is into second with a double. That went behind the wall, and so did the right fielder to try to catch that. Rowdy Tellez up to the plate. He's been super hot. He's got 11 home runs leading the team, and he's got a 270 average with a 1024 OPS. And he's beaned. He is beaned by Bassett. I think Bassett didn't like his guy running through the right field wall on that last at-bat. Reese McGuire is up, and here's an instance where I think I'm actually going to bunt. I know it's frowned upon by most stat heads, but he lays down a good one. That's going to get the runners to second and third. Great bunt there by Reese McGuire, but of course I'm an idiot and didn't realize there were 2 outs. So that's the inning. McGuire has not been doing much with the bat, but I'm an idiot and bunted with 2 outs. Stat heads and those who are in the know would be really upset about that. And Nate Pearson leads off the second inning with his first strikeout of his major league career, striking out Franklin Barreto, former Blue Jay prospect, traded in the Josh Donaldson deal many years ago. Here's Robbie Grossman, the right fielder. He's got a 195 OPS, so he's having a terrible start to the year. And he hits it to second, and Biggio just kind of holds onto the ball and doesn't make a play. So there's an infield hit for Robbie Grossman. Sean Murphy, the catcher. And he strikes out. That's number 2 for Pearson in the inning and 2 on the game. And finally, it brings up the top of the order, Marcus Semien. Semien holds, and the ball goes into center field on the steal. Reese McGuire throws it away, gets charged with an error, and the Blue Jays now have a runner on third with 0-1 count, 2 outs in the second inning. And doesn't matter as Nate Pearson strikes out the side, 3 strikeouts, going up to 101 miles an hour that last batter, that last pitch. And here's Bichette, the top of the order, leading it off for the Blue Jays. And Bichette, a line drive to third base, but that is caught by Matt Chapman. Great defensive infielder there, Matt Chapman, at third base. Here is Cavan Biggio. Biggio struggling this year too. He's got a 615 OBP. He pops that one up. That's into sort of middle to shallow center field. In comes Kemp, and I think it's Tony Kemp, not Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is kind of out of the game at this point. So here is now Vladdy Guerrero. Vladdy Guerrero, he is 0 for 1, and he is now up to the plate. And an 0-1 count to Vladdy. Vladdy hits a fly ball to center. Kemp is over. It looks like he's going to catch that one easily, and he does, and that's the inning. So we're through 2.5. We go to the bottom of the third with Tony Kemp leading off, the center fielder, against Nate Pearson. Big Nate works the count 3-1, and he walks him with a low pitch, and that puts a runner on first. They're going to hold the runner there. Try to make sure we don't give him any extra bases. And Olsen has a infield hit. Again, these animations are not the best. The seeing, he gets the ball in plenty of time, but then just doesn't throw it. We have first and second. We're going to have a double play depth infield. And here we go, pitching to Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman grounds it to third. He touches third over to first. We have a double play made by Vladdy Guerrero Jr. We have a runner on second now, 2 outs for Mark Kanya. And an 0-2 count. It gets away from McGuire. McGuire to the backstop, and that's going to be an extra base there for Olsen at third. McGuire is really having a rough game today. We have a 1-2 count on Kanya, and here is the wind and the pitch. It's a high fly ball, left field. That's shallow, and in comes Gurriel, makes the play, and that is the end of the third inning. Again, Pearson gets into trouble, but he gets out of it thanks to the defense, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. trying to get the Blue Jays on the board to take a lead here in the top of the fourth. Gurriel, a 2-2 count, and strikes out, swinging on the high fastball at 94 miles an hour. Travis Shaw is up to bat. Shaw swings and misses on a 92 mile an hour fastball, and brings us to Randal Grichuk. Grichuk has an 866 OPS, 9 home runs on the season for the Blue Jays. And he hits a weak ground ball to the right side, fielded by the first baseman, over to Bassett covering. Classic pitcher's fielding practice, and the Blue Jays are retired in the top of the fourth. And back out comes Pearson. Pearson's up to 45 pitches. He's still in that, green zone there. And he should be able to go a little bit longer. So that's very nice for his major league debut. Here we go in the fourth inning. And he gets a high fly ball. That's gone. Chris Davis with a home run. That was mammoth shot. 444 feet. The 99 mile an hour fastball just wasn't getting by him. That was pretty impressive. And here is Franklin Barreto. Barreto bunts it down the first base line, picked up by first baseman Shaw, play to first, and he is out. So 1 out now. Blue Jays behind 1-0 in the fourth inning on that massive home run by Chris Davis. Here's Robbie Grossman. Grossman swings and misses on a 1-2 fastball, and he goes down swinging to bring up Sean Murphy, the catcher. And we've got a 2-2 count. And he strikes him out. Another. That looked like a cutter at 93 or a changeup. And that's the end of the inning. We got 1 run, 5 hits now for the A's through 4 innings, and they've got a 1-0 lead against the Blue Jays. Derek Fisher's leading off the inning. And the pitch to Fisher is hit down the right field line. That looks fair, and he's going for second base. Fisher is into second. He's going for third. And we don't see what's going on. Long throw to third, and he's out at third base. That was a bit of an aggressive base running play there by Fisher to really spoil what could have been a great start to the Blue Jays inning. And here's Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy is the team leader in home runs, and he faces Bassett, and he grounds out to first base. And Reese McGuire, he's not going to be bunting this time. McGuire hits the ball in the air to center field, a fairly deep fly ball, but this is not a forgiving ballpark for hitters, very forgiving for pitchers, and he flies out. The Blue Jays are still being shut out through 5 innings. We are now in the bottom of the 5th. Pearson up to 57 pitches, and he's going to face leadoff hitter Marcus Semien for the third time this game. And the pitch, it's a 1-2 count, and Semien strikes out swinging, and he goes down to bring up Tony Kemp. Tony Kemp takes a ball, and it looks like it's beginning to rain. It's a 1-0 count. I guess they stopped the play just to tell us it's beginning to rain. He fights off an inside fastball. Throw to first. He gets him. That was 101 miles an hour. Can't believe he fought that off, but Vladdy Guerrero very much on his toes to make that play. And now we've got Matt Olson. Matt Olson is red hot right now. And here is the 2-out pitch. We got a 1 strike on the batter. Ground ball to second base to Biggio. He throws it to first for the out. And that is the 5th inning, where this game is now official with the Oakland A's taking a 1-0 lead. And Bo Bichette is on at the plate. And he takes a strike. The rain has stopped. That's very nice to know. And Bichette, 0-1 pitch. He laces it to third base, but it's hard hit right to Matt Chapman at third, and Chapman makes the play. Now batting is Cavan Biggio. Biggio is really struggling this year. 6'10", in his sophomore slump, we might call it. He hits a ground ball to second base. His counterpart makes the play, Barreto, and there's 2 outs now. And now we have Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Jr. is going to take the first pitch. And it is a strike. We don't want to get too deep. It's 3-2 count now, and he's going to take a walk. Vladdy's now got on base twice. He was beaned in the first inning, I think. Or maybe that was Tellez that was beaned. That's right, that was Tellez that was beaned. So Vladdy is on base for the first time. Now we have Lourdes Gurriel hitting .277. He is 0 for 2 today. And he hits a hard hit ball into the left field corner. Guerrero's to third. And I think we're going to have to make a decision. It's very deep. Kanye has a normal arm. We're going to send Guerrero home. We're going to be some aggressive, but he actually apparently stayed at... Oh, he scored. We didn't see that, but he scored, and Gurriel Jr. is now on third base with a triple. And now Travis Shaw, 2-2 count. That's a high fly ball. That looks very deep, but not deep enough, and it's going to be a fly ball out. And now we have a 1-1 tie after the top of the 6th. Pearson on for the bottom of the 6th. He's facing Matt Chapman. And the pitch. Rain is beginning to fall, and we have 1 ball on the batter. A 1-ball pitch popped up into shallow right field. In comes Fisher, and he makes the catch. 1 out for Mark Kanya. And here's the first pitch to Kanya, and that hits him. Kanya hit 5 times. He's on base now. 1 out in the 6th inning. Chris Davis up to the plate. Davis, author of a mammoth home run there in the earlier in the game. He's going to hit a foul ball. Little pop fly. And the rain is heavy, and we have a rain delay. Still raining, still raining. And the rain has stopped. A delay of 47 minutes. And we are going to actually take Pearson out of the game after that rain delay. This is actually something in the... in the game that's not great. If normally in a rain delay we'd be warming pitchers up. And he is ready. Okay, so at least in this he is ready right away. And we don't have to wait for him to warm up. We're actually going to get Shun Yamaguchi. This is a great ballpark for Yamaguchi. He tends to give up a lot of home runs. And this is a very forgiving ballpark for pitchers. So we've got 1 strike on Chris Davis. He's got a new pitcher in Wilmer Font, and we're going to pitch around Davis. Davis can do a lot of damage with some great power. And he hits a base hit, and they're going to keep the runners at first and second. Base hit to left field. And now we've got first and second for Franklin Barreto. We're going to put the infield at double play depth. And we're going to pitch to Barreto. Barreto is struck out. He is now 0 for 3 to Wilmer Font. And here's Robbie Grossman. He's up to bat with 2 outs. And he strikes out, and that is the side. It is still a 1-1 tie after 6 complete innings. Now, batting, we've got Randal Grichuk facing the righty Bassett. Interesting that they kept Bassett in after a 47-minute rain delay, but he seems to respond pretty well. Strikes out Grichuk. Now, Derek Fisher is going to take the first pitch. We've got a new pitcher, Lou Trevino. And the first pitch to Fisher is a ball 1. He's got 2 balls now. And he grounds it to second base. That's going to be an easy play for Barreto. And with 2 outs coming to the plate is Rowdy Tellez. He is 0 for 1 and has been beaned, so you gotta love that. And Tellez takes a big cut, but that's not going to go as far as it may have looked initially off the bat. That's going to settle into Grossman's glove in right field, and the Blue Jays are out of it. It is now going into the bottom of the 7th inning. We've got the 7th inning stretch happening. Take me out to the ball game, and I think we're all saying that right now. And here comes Wilmer Font on for his 2nd inning of work. We have Shun Yamaguchi in the bullpen, so we're going to see how much Font can give us before we go to Yamaguchi. And here's the first pitch, fielded by Font and played on to first base for the out. And Marcus Semien is up. Semien was struck out by Pearson in his last at bat and strikes out again to Wilmer Font here in the 7th inning. And now we have Tony Kemp up to the plate. Kemp is 1 for 2 today. And the pitch by Font. That's a ground ball up the middle to short, but it's played by Bo Bichette, who picks it up and makes the play. And we are just going to see if we can bring Yamaguchi into the game now. We can't replace him now. So while he's there, we're actually going to bring Anthony Bass into the bullpen. We're actually going to go with Jordan Romano into the bullpen. We're already in the 8th inning. And just in case Yamaguchi is a little tired when he comes in. And we're going to play here with Reese McGuire. We are actually going to go to the bench. Reese McGuire has just not done it with the bat. We're going to bring in Billy Mckinney. It's another left-handed hitter. And then Danny Janssen's going to come in for the top half of the inning. Or sorry, the bottom half of the inning, and he's going to play defense. So here we go. Billy McKinney facing Lou Trevino. He's going to take the first pitch and takes a ball. We're going to have him take another pitch. And it's ball 2. Now we're going to have him swing away because he is in a hitter's count. And he hits a line drive to first base, and he gets a base hit. And now we've got the top of the order, Bo Bichette, with Billy McKinney at first base. Bichette strikes out for the first out of the inning. And now it's Kevin Biggio. We're actually going to get Biggio out of there. We're going to bring in Joe Panik. Panik is a left-handed hitter facing a righty. And we're going to head back to the game with Joe Panik at the plate. Panik takes the first pitch, and it is a ball low. Going to take the second pitch. That's a strike. And now we swing away. We've got a 1-1 count. And he hits it up the middle, taken at short, on to first base for a double play. And the Blue Jays are out of it. We're still tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. We now have an incomplete lineup, and that is because we need to get Danny Janssen as our catcher. And Janssen is the catcher. Joe Panik is playing second base. And back to the game. Shun Yamaguchi is tiring. We are going to bring him in for Wilmer Font. Now, he may be only in there for a batter. He's got to be in there for 3 batters. So I think that's going to be it for him. And he's going to face Matt Olson. So it's a very different look. We've had a couple of very hard throwers early in the game. His first, well, it wasn't his first pitch, but his 5th pitch to Olson popped up, and Panik makes the play. That's 1 out. Here's Matt Chapman. And the new rule, of course, in Major League Baseball for 2020 is that pitchers coming into the game have to pitch to 3 batters or the end of the inning, whichever comes first. So you can't just bring in a guy for 1 batter anymore, take him out for the next one. Now we've got a runner on first after that base hit by Matt Chapman. We've got Mark Kanya at the plate. And Kanya hits it down the first base line, and that's going to the corner. Having trouble again with that transparent wall, or that maybe it's a wall, that portal to another dimension. Looks like Kanya was injured. They're taking Kanya out of the game, but we still have runners on second and third. And we're pitching to Chris Davis. Davis hits it to second base. That's going to score the run. They should have played it to home. And that's a 2-1 lead for the Oakland Athletics. And here is Barreto. Barreto with 2 outs. Check swing. He gets him. And that is the inning. Just 1 run there for Yamaguchi. But the damage is done. It's a 2-1 lead for the Oakland Athletics. And I believe we do have to still wait to bring in Jordan Romano for the 9th, which may not be necessary. So Liam Hendricks, another former Blue Jay, comes on the mound for the Oakland A's. They've got Vladdy Guerrero Jr., and Guerrero is trying to keep the Blue Jays in the game here in the top of the 9th. So 2-1 count. Guerrero hits it to third base. He picks it up on a hop and throws it to first base. Great play there by Matt Chapman. Lourdes Gurriel, he's up to the plate. He's got 2 strikes now. The last pitch was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And he swings and misses. And Hendricks gets Lourdes Gurriel with the 97-mile-an-hour heater. Blue Jays are down to their last out, and here is Travis Shaw. Shaw takes the walk on 4 pitches, keeping the Blue Jays alive for Randal Grichuk. Grichuk here facing Hendricks. He's got an 0-for-3 day. He has been slumping a little bit, and here is the pitch. A hard ground ball, and the throw to second gets it, and the Athletics beat the Blue Jays in Nate Pearson's debut. And we're back. So now we're just going to go through the rest of the minor leagues. So we saw Pearson's first outing. So the first day of the week, Buffalo was off. They spent the week playing Indianapolis, which is Pittsburgh's AAA affiliate, and Louisville, the Cincinnati Reds AAA affiliate, winning 2 of 6 games. Major considerations: Sean Reed-Foley had a very good start, 8 strikeouts, 7 innings against Indianapolis in that 4-2 loss. Got a home run from Riley Adams. In the second game, we lost 6-0. Philippe Almont was hit hard. James Dykstra is actually pitching very well. 3 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And Connor Fisk is also coming out pretty well. He got 3 1/3 innings, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. So excellent work for Connor Fisk and James Dykstra to keep us even close. On the 7th, the Bisons lost again, 6-3. Mitch Walding hit a double, going 2 for 5, and Andy Burns was 2 for 3 with 2 walks. Merriweather had another bad start. He gave up 8 hits, 6 runs in 4 2/3 innings. Taylor Saucedo some solid relief, and Curtis Taylor finished the game off 2/3 of an inning. On May the 8th, you see we had a 6-3 loss again. Highlights from that were a home run from Caleb Joseph, who was 3 for 5, 2 RBI, and a double. Santiago Espinal was 3 for 6, and Andy Burns, again, another solid game, 2 for 4 with a double. That was our 11-2 win against Louisville. Forrest Wall was 2 for 5 with 2 RBI, and Jonathan Davis was 1 for 3 with a walk, a double, and an RBI. Ryan Borucki was injured. Let's take a look at Borucki's start. Is he, he seems to be getting these injuries that keep him out of that game, that take him out of that game, and then he comes back healthy. So he's actually currently healthy. He's slightly tired, 69%. And as you can see on the mound, Jake Petrichka had a 3 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, as well as Jacob Wagaspak, who's performing well in relief. He's starting to pitch more now that we've cleared the way for him being able to, get into more games. May 9th, we took a loss, 3-1 to Louisville. Thomas Pannone gave up all 3 runs, but struck out 9 in 6 innings. Curtis Taylor, 2 scoreless innings in relief. Andy Burns, 2 for 4 with a double. Forrest Wall, 2 for 4. And Espinal was 1 for 5 with a double. May 10th, another win, 4-1 for the Bisons. Reed-Foley came out of that game injured. And let's take a look at Reed-Foley. He has some hand soreness. He's out for 3 days. so we're not going to see Reed Foley, but I don't think he's going to miss a start. Also in this game, we had James Dykstra, another solid outing for him in relief. 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, but no runs. And Connor Fisk, another scoreless outing. And Jacob Waguespack, another scoreless outing. Waguespack really piling up some innings this sim. He's up to 7 2/3 now with 12 strikeouts and 4 walks. So he's definitely a guy who's in line to come up to the major leagues. On the offensive side in this game, we had Patrick Kivlahan with 2 for 4 with a home run, Santiago Espinal 2 for 5 with a double, and Jonathan Davis was 2 for 4. Let's take a look at the New Hampshire Fisher Cats now, going back to the beginning of the week. Fisher Cats played Reading and Binghamton, the affiliates for the Phillies and the Mets, and they went 3-4 in 7 games. So for New Hampshire, Thomas Hatch has been pitching really well in this 2-1 win. Alejandro Kirk also was 1 for 3 with a walk. But let's take a look at Thomas Hatch. He's been outstanding, 9 strikeouts in that game. So a nice outing. We're keeping an eye on him, and we'll see what we're going to do with him later on in the sim. May 5th took a loss, 8-4, and that was Patrick Murphy going 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, but 1 was earned. 5 strikeouts. Not a bad outing for him, but Connor Overton gave up a home run. Justin Dillon gave up 3 runs. Travis Bergen gave up 2 runs in that loss. Some solid outings offensively for Kevin Vicuña, who was 2 for 4 with a double and a triple. Logan Warmoth was 2 for 3 with a double, and Kevin Smith 1 for 4 with a triple. On May the 6th, we had an outing from Elvis Luciano, who gave up 1 run in 4 2/3 innings, just 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. So that's some nice turnaround from Luciano. We're hoping that he can really start to see some positive work there in Double A. It may have been a mistake to put him in Double A as opposed to Single A, but after a year in the majors, I was thinking Single A might be just a bit of a letdown for him. We had Maximo Castillo give up no runs, 2 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. Connor Overton, another 3 runs without getting an out. And Joey Murray gave up a run in 2 1/3 innings. As well, Jake Fishman finished it off, giving up 3 runs, taking the loss in the 8-5 loss in 10 innings to Reading. In the first game against Binghamton, Andrew Sopko, another solid start. 1 run, 3 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 6 1/3. Maximo Castillo, 1 2/3 innings, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. And offensively, Kevin Vicuña hit his first home run of the year, 2 for 3, 2 RBI. Cullen Large was 2 for 4. Alejandro Kirk, 2 for 5 with a couple of doubles. On May 8th, we have that 9-2 loss, and the loss was really taken by Hector Perez. 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks in 5 1/3 innings. Travis Bergen gave up 3 walks and a run, but that was it in 1 inning. And Zach Logue gave up 3 runs, 1 of them earned in 1 2/3. Gabriel Guerrero 2 for 4. Kevin Smith was 2 for 2 with a double. On May the 9th, we got a win. Binghamton was our opponent, 3-2 win, and Thomas Hatch, another strong outing. Although he did walk 4, he went 6 innings, 2 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Joey Murray gave up 2 runs, and Jake Fishman finished it off. Offensively, Josh Palacios 2 for 5, Vinny Capra 2 for 4, Cullen Large 1 for 3 with a walk and a double, and Mac James was 1 for 4 with an RBI. And finishing off the week, we finished with an 8-0 loss to the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. Smith and Warmoth were both 1 for 3. Patrick Murphy got hit hard, 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. John Harris was also hit hard in relief, 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Going to the Dunedin Blue Jays. There we are. And Dunedin had a much better week. They went 3-3. Again, not fantastic, but it was definitely better. In the first game of the week, we got a 5-4 win against Bradenton. Simeon Woods Richardson, 3 runs, 9 hits, and 5 2/3 innings. Justin Maesi gave up a run on a solo home run in 1 2/3, whereas Brad Wilson finished it with Brad Wilson and Sean Weimer finished with a couple scoreless innings. Offensively, Christopher Beck 2 for 5 with a double. Samad Taylor continues to be red hot. He's 2 for 3 with a home run and a walk. Otto Lopez 1 for 1 with a triple, and Griffin Conine was 2 for 4 with a double, and Norberto Obeso was 2 for 4, and he had a strong week, as we're going to see. In Bradenton, again, a 5-3 win on May 5th, and the starter was Alek Manoah, 4 innings pitched, 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts, so he's having trouble with walks. Maverick Bufo, Marcus Reyes, Brad Wilson, and Sean Weimer finished the game. Weimer with his 9th save. Offensively, Chavez Young had a beautiful game, 3 for 4 with a triple and 2 runs. Reggie Pruitt with 2 for 5, a double, a stolen base, and a run. Samad Taylor 1 for 4 with a double. Norberto Obeso 2 for 3 with a run and a walk, and Ryan Gold 2 for 3 with a triple, a walk, and an RBI. In the 11-2 loss to Bradenton, we had not a lot of offense. Gabriel Moreno hit a home run, and Nick Podcool was 2 for 4. And then we go down to the pitchers, and we see that Josh Winkowski was hit pretty hard, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks in 3 2/3 innings. Juan DePaula, 4 hits, 4 runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Braden Bushi was hit fairly hard too, giving up a home run in 1 2/3, and Sean Rakowski gave up nothing, thankfully, because it was an ugly loss. Our next game, May the 7th, against the Clearwater Threshers, the Phillies affiliate, was an 8-3 win. So it's nice to see those wins. Graham Spraker on the mound for this one. 7 1/3, 3 runs, 9 hits, 7 strikeouts. Jackson Rees struck out 5 in 1 2/3 innings. So that's a great outing for Jackson Rees. Samad Taylor, another 3-hit game. He had hit 2 doubles. And Gabby Moreno with 2 for 4 game, 2 RBI and a double. Jake Broad 1 for 2, a double, a walk, 2 runs. Johnny Aiello 1 for 2, 4 RBI, and a double there. Next game was a 6-0 loss, so we're not going to have a lot to speak about on May 8th for our offense. One thing we're looking at here is Cree Finfrock. I have to always catch myself when I say his name. It doesn't come off the tongue very quickly. He did strike out 7 in 3 2/3 innings, but gave up 4 runs, including 2 home runs. Maverick Bufo was okay, walking 3 in 1 2/3, but no runs. And Mike Ellenbest with a home run, 2 runs, 3 2/3 innings, 4 strikeouts. Nick Podcool did go 3 for 4 with a double, and Norberto Obeso was 2 for 3 with a walk. Following up with another shutout loss, 5-0 to Clearwater. Simeon Woods Richardson took that one hard, 7 hits, 3 runs. Sean Rakowski came in, giving up a run in 2 2/3, and Justin Maesi finished it off. Didn't finish it off. He came in, and Sean Weimer finished it off. The only offense to speak of was Chavez Young going 2 for 4. And finally, we had a day off, so that ended the bleeding. We have 2 shutouts in a row, going back to Bradenton, where we have had some good results so far for a 4-game series coming up. The Lansing Lugnuts split their time out west. They had a nice little western road trip and went 5-1 against these western teams. We had Wisconsin, and I believe Wisconsin is the A-ball affiliate for the Milwaukee Brewers, and Beloit, I believe, is for the Oakland A's. So lots of good stuff from the Lansing Lugnuts. 12-0 win to start. And let's take a look at what we've got. We've got a great outing from Alex Nolan. The Canadian boy went to Brock University, 6 1/3 innings of scoreless ball, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. And Luke Gillingham, the military academy veteran, he had 2 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts in 2 2/3. Home runs from Will Robertson, Jordan Groshans, his first of the year, and McGregory Contreras. 3 hits for Cameron Eden. Hagen Danner had a couple hits, including a double. Robertson was 2 for 5 with 4 RBI. Jesus Lopez was, I think he had a triple, and he drove in 3 runs. And DJ Neal, 3 for 4 with a couple of walks. So great offensive production for the Lugnuts here. On the 5th, the Lugnuts got a start from Will McAffer, another Canadian, giving up 5 runs, 4 walks, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts in 4 innings. Hobie Harris got hit hard. He got the win, but he still gave up 2 runs in 2 1/3. Grayson Huffman, a third of an inning. Juan Diaz, 1 1/3. And Josh Hyatt with the save, his 7th of the year. Offensively, we got some decent work from Jesus Lopez, 4 for 6 game with no extra base hits. Tanner Morris, DJ Neal, Cameron Eden also had 2 hits each. Ronnie Brito with 4 for 5 game, and McGregory Contreras 3 for 4. So really nice offensive game again in a 10-7 win. Then we got a shutout on the 6th. Adam Kloffenstein, 6 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, and Andy McGuire finished off the shutout. Home run from Brett Wright, the backup catcher, 1 for 3 with 3 RBI and a couple of walks. Jordan Groshans, 2 hits, including a double. Cameron Eden, 2 hits, also including a double, and 2 more hits from Jesus Lopez and Tanner Morris. Going over to Beloit, we had another big offensive day. 12 runs for the Lugnuts, 3 hits from Tanner Morris, including a double. Jesus Lopez, 2 hits, 3 hits from DJ Neal, 2 hits from Jordan Groshans, including his 4th double of the year. Our only loss of the week came to the Beloit Snappers, 6-0, and that was on May 8th. And we had Juan Nunez on the mound, he only went 3 innings, giving up 5 runs, 3 earned. Grant Townsend, our friend out there, he went 2 2/3, a hit, a walk, 4 strikeouts. Really nice outing there for Townsend. Luke Gillingham giving up a run in 2 1/3 innings. And offense, there wasn't much. Jordan Groshans, 2 hits. So Groshans has really turned things around a little bit. And Ronnie Brito had a hit here. And our final game of the week for the Lugnuts on the 9th, a 9-4 win against the Beloit Snappers. Alex Nolan, another strong start. Fitz Stadler, 2 2/3 innings. He's getting some more time on the mound now that we've cleared out some room. Home run here from Will Robertson, another home run. Nice solid game, 3 for 4. Tanner Morris, 2 hits, 2 walks, including a double. Cameron Eden hit a triple. Yorman Rodriguez, 1 for 4 with a double. And so that's the week. We're just going to take a look now just at some summaries, and we're going to make some moves. So from the bottom up, from the Lansing Lugnuts, we can see the Lugnuts are in first place in the Eastern Division. They've got a 20-8 record, so some outstanding stuff here. Will Robertson is catching fire, and we're thinking about promoting a couple of guys. Jesus Lopez has been off to a phenomenal start. 311, 398, 456. We've also got solid performance here from Cameron Eden, who's got 336, 403, 570 slash line. He's a guy that I think can definitely move up to Dunedin. I may give him another couple of weeks just to see if anybody on Dunedin is going to sort of force their hand and make me want to promote them. We don't have a lot of promotion-worthy players on the hitting side for Dunedin. But we have a couple of guys, and Will Robertson is catching fire. He's hit a couple home runs this week, 287, 347, 500. Really nice line there for him. Pitching-wise, we're going to promote Alex Nolan. Alex Nolan, 36 strikeouts and 29 1/3, 10 walks, 2.15 ERA. Alex has really earned it, and so he's going to high A Dunedin. He is the one guy that I'm promoting. I'm not going to promote anyone. We still have a couple guys who haven't pitched yet, including Mitch McCown and Luis Quinones. So we do that, and what happens is Nick Fraze gets into the rotation. Again, we are deferring all lineups to our managers in the minor leagues, except for certain things. If I want to put a certain player in a certain position. So, for example, we are force starting Jordan Groshans at short, and we're force starting Cameron Eden at center field. So things like that I'm going to make executive decisions on the way the front office might, but I'm leaving the day-to-day managing of these teams to the managers. Let's move up to Dunedin. Again, we have a couple of guys who are really hot, and that would be Samad Taylor. And Samad Taylor's still young. He's only 21. I'm going to give him another week or two, and if he stays hot, he keeps that OPS, above 850 or so, we're going to move him up to AA. He's really the one batter who really is showing that he's deserving of a higher level. Griffin Conine is solid. He's not outstanding, and Ryan Gold is in a backup role, is doing well, but everybody else is really either right around the league average or a lot worse. Pitching wise, so now we have Alex Nolan. We're going to see what happens with him when we ask the manager to set up our rotation. But we're going to move Brad Wilson up. He's got a 0.61 ERA, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts. I favor him over Weimer, A, because Wilson has pitched in AA before, and B, because Weimer's strikeout rate is still fairly low. He's got a 13 innings under his belt, just 10 strikeouts. So even though he hasn't given up a run, you can see Wilson's given up only 6 hits in 14 2/3 innings, so he's not getting hit. His whip is much lower than Weimer. So Wilson is going to get a promotion, and I'm going to make Cree Finfrock. Let's just move Wilson to AA New Hampshire. I'm going to make Cree Finfrock a reliever. I think we've seen enough of him as a starter. We're going to make him a reliever. We're going to get rid of his pitch count. And we're going to head back to the main screen. We've got now, I'm going to see if he makes Juan DePaula a starter, our manager Donnie Murphy. If he doesn't, I may force start him. Let's see what happens. We get Justin Maesi back in the rotation. Very interesting. I thought we might see Alex Nolan as a starter, and at some point I might put him back there, but I'm interested to see what happens with Justin Maesi. He's a guy who's had a long road. He's missed a couple of seasons due to injury, and he tried to get back in last year, but only went 5 innings in the GCL, as you can see. So I'm actually very curious to see what Maesi does, given the opportunity to be a starter again. I remember seeing him a few years ago in spring training, and he was just like, it wasn't even fair, the guys he was pitching against, and it was an intra-squad game, but it just wasn't fair. These guys were just beating the ball into the ground. Has such a heavy sinker, and his slider was really effective. So let's see what happens with Justin Maesi. I do like the fact that we're giving these pitchers pitch limits, mainly because it's going to get a lot of these bullpen guys. We don't have 31 pitchers. We have 18 pitchers on this team. So these guys are going to get more work when these guys have these lower pitch counts. They may not get as many wins, they may not get as deep into the game, but with those pitch counts, we do get more guys, more innings. All right, we're going to AA. Let's see what we're doing here. One of the easiest decisions to make is we're going to move Thomas Hatch. We're going to bring him up to AAA, which is something he probably deserved, but there's so many pitchers in the Blue Jays system that it was going to be a tough sell to get Hatch to AAA with so many veterans who have major league experience, despite Hatch being on the Blue Jays 40-man roster right now. So we have moved him up. We're down to 15 pitchers for the Fisher Cats. One thing I am going to do is I am going to move Hector Perez into the bullpen. So we do that and we make him a reliever. So now we're going to open up 2 spots in the rotation. Let's see what that does. we have Joey Murray back in the rotation and Justin Dillon. That is perfectly fine. I'm very happy with that. Brad Wilson, newly promoted, is now a setup man, so that actually shows you that the AI thinks pretty highly of Brad Wilson. Down here towards the bottom, Connor Overton has really been hit hard lately. If he continues to have that happen, I'm not sure what we're going to do. We may have to just let him go. He was also signed in the offseason, a very under-the-radar minor league signing. And we go up to Buffalo. For the Bisons, pitching, we've got some really great pitchers. James Dykstra has been outstanding. Curtis Taylor has been solid. Jake Petrichka has been great, so he may be the next guy up if we can find him an MLB roster spot, because he's not on the 40-man, whereas Jacob Waguespack, who has been excellent, also is on the 40-man roster. So Waguespack is probably our next guy up. Now, Julian Merriweather, we're going to make him a reliever. I think, he's been starting and he's been getting hit very hard. So into the rotation comes Thomas Hatch. That was not a big surprise. And so we have some nice pitchers here. And I'm very curious to see how Hatch responds to AAA. At the plate, we have not a lot of guys hitting well. Caleb Joseph is hitting pretty well, but Riley Adams is not doing well. He's got a 64 OPS plus. Nash Knight, again, not playing very much, but he's doing okay. Santiago Espinal has some nice numbers here in AAA. Again, not a ton of power. 77 ISO, just 9 doubles in 130 plate appearances. Jonathan Davis is holding his own, and Anthony Alford has a 20 OPS plus, which is pretty bad. And Patrick Kivlahan, not surprisingly, he has 6 home runs. That looks like it leads the team. And let's head up to Toronto, because Toronto's going to factor into some decisions we have to make in Buffalo. So our catching tandem, not great. Reese McGuire is really doing very little with the bat. Danny Janssen, 81 OPS plus. He does have a positive WAR, probably because his defense is looking pretty good. 35.7% caught stealing. That's pretty nice. No passed balls so far. So pretty solid there for Danny Janssen behind the plate. He still has some room to grow as a hitter. Rowdy Tellez, obviously very solid. We've already talked about him. Joe Panic has a negative 31. It's pretty hilarious, a negative 31 OPS plus. We're hoping he does improve given some playing time. And I think we're going to see some more, because Cavan Biggio has not been doing the job here. And in the outfield, Billy McKinney, that's okay. He's mainly a fourth outfielder right now. Bo Bichette has also struggled somewhat, 81 OPS plus. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., he's at a 124. Rowdy Tellez, Travis Shaw. So the big question here is, do we send down Cavan Biggio? I'm a little more inclined right now to let Panic play a little bit more. So I'm going to say, instead of every 20th game, I'm going to say every third game, particularly against righties. They're both left-handed hitters. Brandon Drury is going to play every third game, maybe every second game against righties. If we take a look at Biggio, let's see how he's doing in his splits. So against lefties, Biggio is not hitting well at all. 160 average, 344 OBP, 280 slugging. Against righties, a little bit better. He's not taking as many walks against righties, but he is hitting a little better. 596 OPS, 624 OPS against lefties. So he's actually, his OPS is better, but his average and slugging is not as good. So Biggio is going to get a little less playing time. Our only real option for the infield, the middle infield in AAA, is Santiago Espinal. So again, we don't have a lot of guys coming up to take anyone's places, and certainly nobody in Buffalo is really chomping at the bit to get the major leagues. And here in the big leagues, we do have a question, and I am going to actually make a change. I'm going to take Trent Thornton out of the rotation, bring TJ Zoik in, and see what happens. I'm going to put him in long relief. And now we've got a 3 out of our 5-man rotation are rookies, essentially. Anthony Kay, Nate Pearson, and TJ Zoik. We'll see how this works out over the next couple of weeks. I don't see a ton of changes. Chase Anderson is on the injured list for another week and a half or so. We can take a look at our injured list. So he's on the IL for 8 more days, so he'll come off and probably go back into the rotation, and then we'll actually just be able to see how these guys are doing. They'll probably have a chance to make 1 or 2 starts each, and if they're doing well, they may stay in, and Anderson may come in the bullpen. Otherwise, one of these guys can easily go back to the pen. In the bullpen, Trent Thornton obviously has rough numbers. Matt Shoemaker, again, both acquire these numbers in the starting rotation. Shun Yamaguchi has been better of late after a rough start, and everyone else is pretty good. Ken Giles has had a couple of rough outings, but he's got 10 saves. Jordan Romano has been great. Rafael Dolis has been great, and Wilmer Font has been great. So I think we've got a couple of good relievers. The bullpen is solid, and we'll see what happens over this next week. So the Blue Jays had a very rough week. We're down to 18-22. You can see we've fallen to 4th place, and we even lost 2 of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles. Not a pleasant series against the Orioles. 18-22, we are now 11 games back of the Tampa Bay Rays, who are 30-12. And that's going to be it for today's sim. Thanks to GM Games. I'm JayBlue of Blue Jays from Away. Come on to our website. Lots of things, lots of content on the minor leagues, lots of interviews, podcasts, and of course it's also the home of the 2020 Toronto Blue Jays Minor League Handbook. Thanks very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.